Hi folks, and welcome to another video. I'm playing Warplan Pacific again, and I'm comparing it actually to the board game I just purchased, Empire of the Sun. Um, so I'm going to play a couple turns here. Once again, I'm playing the Axes here and doing a Japanese opening move here. So bear with me as I want to progress through a bunch of turns here. Manchuria requires 160 strength points to be able to make sure that the Russians don't get any ideas about moving into Manchuria. So what I usually do in this situation is I turn off any sort of reinforcements. There's just enough troops here to be able to have the 160. What I'm going to do here is I'm checking for, yes, this army unit has assault. That's good. So I'm just going to turn off reinforcements for everybody to start off with. Move him into Manchuria. As I'm looking at a lot of these army units, they're in assault, but they look like they've been dummied down to 1939, which is fine and dandy. So when I take a look at this, I've got 10 here, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 130, 140, 150, and the headquarters makes 160. So I can get these air units out of here now. Fly him down. I can rail him down here. Okay. And I'm going to do my standard thing here. I'm going to try to upgrade all of these one at a time and build basically divisions at the 1939 level. I'm just trying to do something different here. I want to try to take out China early. So I want to replace these armies with divisions because you can't join the divisions. Japanese in divisions, and I'm going to increase reinforcement rate to 95. The South China Sea gets all 10, and Thailand gets 5. I got my trade routes created. Okay, I guess I'll do the Chinese move first. I mean, straightforward and simple. My first attack is to Hong Kong. And the capture of it. This is at half strength at this point in time, so I do want to get that up as quickly as possible. I'm going to go into full support mode, see if I can push this unit back, which obviously I could not. Each one of these units moves up. Standard. Tip of the spear. What I'm really trying to get is Kunming and Chongqing. Those are two cities that I'd like to be able to capture. And I'd like to reinforce this particular area here. And I'll do that in a little bit. And over, rail him in. Throw him in hold position. And let's give him priority reinforcements until I can get more people here. Usually split this. As part of the requirement, if I get Bandar Lampung, it kind of cuts off Singapore. I'll need Kuala Lumpur also. I'm going to do my traditional naval attacks at this point in time, which surprisingly does nothing lately. Oh, that one actually did pretty good. Wow, I got the repulse. That's brand new. I'm going to go in raider mode here, and I'm going to park out here. Oh, they can't do anything. Now, what's interesting is I want to compare this to Empire of the Sun. So I'm going to do a little bit more of a traditional or safe sort of opening move and try to see how much of Borneo I can actually capture. I mean, one port I want for sure is Surabaya, so I'm definitely going to go in here, and sure, this attack with just one destroyer still is strong enough to take Surabaya, which it is, so that hasn't changed much since the last time I've played. I've got some options here now for this particular area, but before I do that, let's work on Malaya. I've always found Malaya sort of interesting, and sometimes the first attack that unit in Kota Baru holds, so let's see if it does hold. No, it doesn't hold in this particular situation, which is awesome. So traditionally I would have moved down here, the headquarters moves there. I'm going to continue my attack on the naval units there, hoping that, and I did not, this unit will move here, this unit will head up, this unit will start getting in their act together. Okay. Sorry about that, you're up the mic here. Okay, so now, like I mentioned before, I'm playing a very conservative type of move here, not being fancy at all with regard to this. I want to capture the oil, so I'm going to come in with the mixed in here, land, take the port, which is what I wanted. In this unit here, I'm going to come in this location. Actually, I'm not going to come in that particular location. And we do want the oil fields. So before I move that one in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the army unit in with the destroyer. So Tarakan has been liberated. The Dutch East Indies unit has been removed. I am heading into this area as I want the oil. And a little bit of experience. I'm going to load these up into ships. And these units are going to come around here. Capture the oil, but I need a port. So I will leave Saigon here. I'm going to need some support here, guys. So I'm gonna come in with this battle group, just giving me 8-1 odds, which is good enough for me. And this is opened up. As you can see here, what I'm trying to do is capture as much oil in Borneo in the first turn. This is definitely, the Japanese have a far longer reach in this version of the game than in other versions. This unit here would normally come in here, but what I want to do is I want to take out some naval units first. I do want to be able to perform some blockade, so I'm going to use my carrier units as cover so I don't lose any of the ships that I have. This allows me now to come in. The air units have attacked twice. Nothing fancy here, folks. Just, like I said, just outreaching and seeing what I can do and what I can't do. And move this guy into port. This guy into port. Haven't had a chance to use my headquarters unit here. I'm going to move these two guys over to Saigon. Got this battle group that's really doing nothing at this particular time. So instead of wasting fuel, I'm going to pop them off in Hong Kong. These guys here are going to land here to finish off all the ports. Didn't really need the destroyer unit on that. So now I've cut off the Philippines from supply. You need 3 naval vessels to be able to do that, so I've got that accomplished. I'm going to bring this carrier unit here, do another naval attack, and while in port, inflict no damage whatsoever. The only thing I've sunk is the repulse, which is interesting. So I've completed most of my moves here with regard to China and the CBI, China, Burma, and India here. I've got a foothold in the Philippines. Did a great job on Borneo. I mean, totally shocked at how easy that was on the first turn in comparison to Empire of the Sun. Now comes the traditional attacks. I couldn't even perform the attack on Guam. But I could have, I guess, but I didn't. I chose not to. I went for Lee. The units that are set up are straightforward now. I mean, you accomplish what the game's been set up for you to accomplish. I've taken Guam. Now comes Wake. It's funny because in Empire of the Sun, Wake is very difficult to take. I'm gonna now bring this sub in raider mode and just gonna harass Nomi here. This one here can only do Terrera or Nauru. Seems like a shame here Canton Island also can be attacked, I guess. Um, Johnson cannot, Midway cannot, but again, choice is yours which route you want to go. I kind of find Tuera a little bit useless, but okay, I don't need the destroyer to come with me. This will go into naval and full mode here. I believe I have some air units that are running low here, so I've got here. This is sitting at 15 too, so I'm going to bring him up. Take one of these and leave him there. And bring him to Guam. Now, what do I do that for? Well, just to kind of put some shipping in the area there. If I need to break a supply blockade, this coastal group, I'm going to take one of them, bring them into Rabaul. I'm going to take this air group and set them on full mission mode and Navy. Do the same here. Oops, already there. Take the sun, put it in raider mode, and hike it all the way down. I never like using supplies, so I'm going to put them in Panape. Gmail. Got the truck. And I want to eventually make it to the Philippines here. The idea behind having a destroyer here, just in case I want to do an amphibious assault, I can do so. Now, there's not much I can do in Singapore because they're going to end up moving that unit out anyway. Let's get this guy up to snuff. Okay, so Malaya's pretty good. I got a foothold in the Dutch East Indies. Surprisingly, how much I took of the island of Borneo, considering I took only one resource hex in Empire of the Sun. And I've created a blockade. Yeah, that's very similar to what I did in Empire of the Sun also. I can't really compare China because it's actually abstract. I didn't do much in India either with regard to movement. So in comparison, the amount of movement in this game is amazing. Okay, so let's complete the attack of Pearl. Wow, the first attack was absolutely devastating. The second attack was absolutely useless. Move the sub here. Let's move the other sub here. Let's get some supplies in there and get these subs out and start hampering supply here. So that completes the opening maneuver. I mean, I can Again, move some destroyers over in locations to help set up some sort of, invasion forces. And that's the idea, similar to what we're doing in Empire of the Sun. The Yamato, I definitely want to move out and throw it into truck. These other forces I can start moving out slowly. A lot of coastal groups here. Throw one in Iwo Jima. And I'd rather have one in Pelu. And that completes my first move here. I'm going to let the allies run their turn through, and then I'm going to save it. Looking at the reports here, looks like I sank the Repulse, the Nevada, and the West Virginia. In comparison, I mean, I sank a lot more in Empire of the Sun, even though they were just units and so forth. But when I look at my carrier strike at Pearl, the second one hardly did anything at all, whereas the first one did most of the damage, which was interesting. Moving forward, I'm going to continue trying to work on my resources here. That's at 95. I bought 3 divisions. I've got my 10 here. And it looks like I'm getting an air unit January 7th. These are 2-week turns. So nothing fancy here, just getting a foothold in the Philippines. Surprised myself with how much I could get in Borneo for free in comparison to the board game. As it seems to be, the Japanese are moving a little bit slower. We'll see what the next turn is like with the board game. And let's just finish the turn by ending our turn and letting the allies play it out. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to compare both games. I've always been into the Pacific Theater and have played board games since I've been like 14 years old, with a lot of Avalon Hill games, Third Reich, etc. But it's interesting to see some of the new games that have come out. This game here is nice in that it has a board style type of look and feel to it. And that's what makes this very attractive for me to purchase. Very happy with the game, the way it plays out. Looking forward to Warplan 2. Some of the nuances when you take a look at the way naval action occurs, blockades, etc. I mean, I can say I'm not, completely happy, but I'm not angry or sad in any way. I mean, the game mechanics are the game mechanics, whether you play a board game or a computer game here. And as everything else here, when I take a look at the first move of the Allies, there's really not much they can do until really, or at least there's nothing they shouldn't be able to do until at least 1943. Then all hell should break loose for Japan. So when I take a look at here, let's see, I've got units out of supply. No surprise, it's my carriers. I'm going to have to move them. This is a straightforward move, so I'm just going to complete this move right now and move the destroyer unit in Awake Island here. I guess that's partisan activity. So when I take a look at supply here, I don't really think I'm hurting anywhere, which is kind of good. It looks like these are all maxed out. My ports are all maxed out with the units that I have. But everybody seems to be in supply and in good spirits, which is really, really good. Even my army unit here is in supply. So I'm going to end the turn here. I'm just going to save the game and say good night. Everyone take it easy, and thank you everybody for watching. Bye now.